Nice hair.
Thank you.
It looks good tonight.
Let's get the show on the road.
Just talk right over the intro, guys.
Intro.
Off to a great fucking start here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday. I'm Rex the Boot Atkins. As always with Easy, Eric Kearney, Joe Dog Hallam.
What's going on?
It's a good brother morning, right?
It's something, yeah. Oh man. How's everybody's week going so far?
Do you like my shirt?
Oh, Joe, I love your shirt.
Kayfabe.
That's a nice shirt.
Isn't that cool?
Oh,
It's
it is nice.
It's
actually.
a kayfabe news shirt. They're not a sponsor, but I'm trying to get them to be.
Well, we don't have sponsors, and because of that, did you know that we have a Patreon?
I'm just hearing this now.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know?
That's right. Patreon.com/goodbrothermorning. If you want to see us live in living color.
Oh, you didn't know? That's good.
You should do like a live watch along with our patrons.
Yeah.
What are we watching with them?
I don't know.
They're with
We
them,
should-
do we?
We
I don't
should
wanna
do
hang
it.
around
I'm
them.
telling you guys, we should do it on Twitch.
Shut up, Joe.
No,
then-
I'm more with that because we don't have to touch anybody,
Yeah.
No,
then
you don't
people
have to.
can-
You don't have to touch any. What do you mean? Can't they sign into
They're
Patreon?
always- I don't know, but I'm just saying sometimes you go to shows and people are trying to touch you and they're like, it's just, hey,
What
man,
shows do you go to?
all wrestling shows. They always want to shake your hand and
yeah.
come
And
up
there's
and get
those
you to
creepy-
sign stuff with their marker that they let everyone else touch. And
The creepy
I'm
guy
getting
that's
freaked
like
out about the pandemic.
Yeah, you're a COVID guy. Okay. That's
creepy
fine.
guys who's like, hey, I made you this action figure of you.
That's you, Joe. You
Oh,
make the
God
action
damn it.
figures.
Oh, damn it,
You're the
damn it.
creepy guy.
Oh, damn it. Oh, no. That is me. Oh, no.
You're the K on your shirt stands for creep.
Oh,
It's not how you spell creep.
I was going to
Creep
get the
fade.
one with had the 3 Ks get fade, but I thought, no,
No.
that's probably not good.
That's such a great slogan for like those white supremacist groups.
What? 3 Ks?
I don't know. KKK. KKK
You're
fave.
so-
There's a car show. There's a car show in a place.
No, I'm
called,
saying okay, keep going.
well, there's a place in I don't know. It's near Kitchener. It's called Kirkton. You know where Kirkton is? Anyway, every year they have something called the Kirkton Classic Cruise, and because Kirkton spelled with a K, they put a K for the classic and for the cruise.
Oh no.
And I'm like, there wasn't
our
one guy.
Guest is here.
There he is. Hi, Danny.
He's connecting to audio. Everybody, Danny Z is joining us. How's it going, buddy?
Living the COVID dream, man.
We're just yeah.
Rocket, you got a nice Aerosmith in the background there.
Yeah, a little collector thing that I got at an Aerosmith concert when I worked at Hits FM.
Wow, loving an
Nice.
elevator.
Is it signed by
Cool.
Steven Tyler?
Oh yeah, I got the whole band on there.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
amazing.
That is dope.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Danny, just so you don't know, anyone listening lives a way more interesting life than any of us.
way more interesting. It's
And that's
incredible.
That's why he's here on the pod. Yeah.
What did I miss?
Oh,
Nothing. Just the intro. That's it.
All
And Joe sporting his kayfabe shirt.
We were talking about this car show that I've been to called the Kirkton Classic Cruise, and they use 3 Ks. And I'm like, there wasn't one guy on the board of directors that was like, excuse me, like maybe we should have a look at this. Like nobody clued in that. Hey, you're going to the KKK this year? Yeah, it's going to be a real.
And I
rally.
imagine
Like, don't-
Kirkton's like a very white town. It sounds like a small
Yeah,
town.
It is. They had no
Yeah.
idea. Well, either that or they're really bad at covering their KKK rallies, and they don't even try to hide it. They're like they made it really obvious by calling it a car show or something.
Yeah, come down to the Kirkton
Oh my
Classic.
goodness.
I'm sure it's a great place. It always is a good show, but hopefully it's not racist. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Danny Z, thanks for coming on, man. I was very excited when Rex told me you were coming on the pod.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty excited to be a part of anything. As I joked about saying, living the COVID dream. I mean, there's so little going on in the world that God bless all of you guys that are doing these podcasts and these types of things, because it still allows an audience of people who are trapped at home doing nothing to be involved. And it gives all of us as entertainers the ability to interact. And I think it's very important for mental health. And anytime I can be a part of something, I'd love to.
Wow,
Nice.
thank you for saying that, Danny. That's really nice. Thank you.
That's true. This is like because we don't have any shows right now, so like half the time I just feel like this is the best thing going. Like this is almost like a booking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good. It's good that people have like an outlet and they have something to listen to while they're. It kind of goes like charity work, and then us. We're like right under it. Right, like
right,
we're basically
right underneath charity.
we're basically heroes. Yeah, it goes like it goes like essential frontline workers, and then like paramedics and firefighters or whatever. We're
I
like
know this is. I was just checking on my other computer, and you guys are 3 spots below senior citizen volunteers.
yes,
That's going
Yeah.
on the shirt, by the way. When we do the Big Brother Morning shirt, that's going to be right underneath.
oh no, yes, we're pretty awesome. What can we say?
Awesome.
So, Danny, you just got done doing a big trick out there in Fort Erie, eh?
Yeah, not even a trick. I mean, it's part of my escapology plan, and I just broke the Canadian world record for the highest aerial escape in Canada. I did 132 feet, which crushed the last record of 82 feet. And
wow,
from the time it was lifted till the time I touched the ground was 8 minutes and 9 seconds. And it's a ridiculous way to make a living, but I'm lucky to do anything at this time of year, and I mean that sincerely. And
I
amazing.
tuned in on a live. I don't know if somebody was doing it on Instagram, but Jesse Bieber had his phone out, and I joined him, and we were watching it, and you were already at the top, and the 2 commentators were doing a countdown already, so we were in. But like you only had 60 seconds to do everything, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's how it's always presented, but I'm never shy about being honest about it. I really have about 2 minutes, because by the time I'm in the bag, I can start working on the locks. So although they give me a timer, the timer is really my appropriate time to clip on. So I'm 14 stories in the air, and I really do have about 60 seconds to get out of a shackled burlap bag. So I have to reach my hands out of 2 small holes in the bag and pick a lock. And that part isn't a joke. And that's the hardest part of the whole thing, because I'm working blind. And getting out of the bag is the first real tough thing. The second tough thing is I'm in a tippy box hanging from a crane. And when I go to one side, it swings, and I still got to clip in. And this is the second time I did it. The first time I did it was in Italy, in Rome, a year and a half ago. And when I went to clip on, my safety harness was 6 inches too short, and I had to leap to clip on.
Whoa.
And I'm not saying this for you or your audience, but I thought that I missed and that I died.
Wow.
I fell backwards, and the force of the fall and the swing swung me forward against the steel cable and broke my collarbone and tore my bicep and my rotator cuff. And
my God.
I did a TED talk on it. Actually, it was really really incredible. Again, I'm not saying this for you or your audience, but it was really incredible accepting the fact that I thought that I was going to pass on. And I got a little PTSD from it, which isn't a joke. And this was a big deal for me this time, because I was forcing myself to get back in the box and overcome something that I was really struggling with. And we had talked about it a great deal, because just as I said earlier, mental health is really strong, not just in Niagara, but all over the world right now. And I lost my son this year. I lost most of my belongings in a horrible fire. And I'm still going to work every day and doing my thing. And I did it really to be a Niagara inspiration to the people who could view it or could rewatch it in replay or any of that stuff. And I wanted to remind people that as tough or as bad as things get, life goes on, and you got to find a reason to smile and find a reason to be the most positive version of yourself. And life goes on, guys. And that's why we're here, and that's why we do our best to create a podcast or an outlet for the people who need to watch it. That's what we do. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Danny Z. That's amazing, man. You've been through a lot in the last little bit, and to be able to just keep rolling through and doing your thing, that's awesome. Good for you, man.
The whole beginning of your story about doing this trick, you were giving me a panic attack. Like, I was thinking of the box, like going up that first, as soon as the box starts being raised, like I would, oh my God, I was literally right sitting here. I couldn't
Rex
listen. I was like,
would still be in the bag when the box hit the ground.
Well, that's
You know what? I'm not religious in any way, but I'm blessed to have good friends. One of our colleagues, Frank, let me use his studio. We hooked a harness and a pulley system up on his roof, and I practiced, and we worked out the time. And it, like you guys who do wrestling, and the importance of practicing and working through the moves and all of the things that you do, it was just muscle memory and getting through it. And when the opportunity came that I'm out there, I'm still a character. I mean, to you guys, I'm Dan. To the audience, I'm Danny Z's. And they look to me as somebody who is confident or is true in what they're doing. And the honest answer is, I'm as scared as you, Rex. I'm as scared as everybody else. I cry real tears. It's hard for me, but I push myself beyond what I believe I can do mentally, because I want to challenge myself. And I think that we all do that every single day. And challenging yourself and pushing the boundaries of what you're capable of is the absolute best thing that anybody can do, because the farther you push those boundaries, the better you are as a human being for yourself and for the people around you. And when we consider our friends and the family and the people who are in the nucleus of our zone, how we represent ourselves are a measure of those people. And for me, I really push that boundary for me. I really want my friends and family to look at me as a strength or support. And even if it means that I have to do something that's challenging or hard for myself, I'm going to push myself. That's and I challenge you and everybody who watches this. I challenge all of you to push yourself beyond what you're normally capable of doing and find that best version.
That's like super reassuring to hear, because like when you kind of touched on how similar it is to wrestling, in that you kind of like, even though you have your tricks and tips and stuff, it doesn't make it easier for a professional. Like it just means you're better at it. And it's kind of like when I do stand up or when these guys do wrestling, normally right before I go out, I think to myself, like, can I just go? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, let's just forget about it. I know a lot of like Scotty O'Shea, I know like Hacker, he said the same thing, that right before his music hits, he's like, this is the last thing I want
every
to do.
single time.
Yeah,
every single time.
This.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out. But once your music hits, or once they call your name and you go on stage, or once the magic trick, same thing. It's kind of like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and you're, like you said, your best self kind of comes out. But right before that, there's that moment where you're like, I would pay to not be standing here right now.
Yeah, you know what? I had the opportunity to work with a magic great, David Copperfield. We all know the name.
Nice.
And I'm not being egotistical, but I'm very proud to say I've done over 4,000 shows in the last 20 years. And I hold that with great pride, because I think it's a real success story. And I was working with David Copperfield, and I said to him, well, here we go. And he said, are you nervous? And I said, yeah. I said, are you jokingly? And he said, yeah. And wow. I said, what do you mean you're nervous? And he said, if you're not nervous before you walk on stage, it's time to walk off the stage. And when I listen to you talk about your stand-up, and I talk to you guys about wrestling, if you don't have those butterflies and you're not going out, you probably aren't giving the best show that the audience requires. So when you're nervous, it means that you're heightened, your sense is there, and you're pushing the adrenaline to put on the best show possible. And I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, and I've watched you two guys here wrestle many times. And I would love to have the agility, the stamina, the ability to do all of the things that you guys do. And the honest answer is, I guess if I worked out and exercised and went to classes with you guys and practiced and did all of that stuff, perhaps I could. But I've chosen a different route, and I'm humbled by the ability that you guys have and the training that goes in, because I watch you over and over and over again practice the same bump, the same move, the same thing. And that's no different than you with your comedy and the jokes, because the pauses and those little nuances that you wait for the audience to react back to the humor and what you're putting out. It's the prestige of what makes the comedy so fantastic. It's not even the punchline or the joke or the bump or the drop. It's how you react to the audience and how they react back. So it's about learning your audience, knowing your people. And if you're not excited and nervous before you walk out, it's time to walk off. That was one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely take that to heart. That's amazing. Yeah,
That's
for
true.
sure. Do you think that magic or even pro wrestling, do you think it's something that somebody can learn even if they're not, like with magic, is it something that you have to be kind of naturally good at, but you can learn stuff, or is it something that you can teach anybody, do you think?
Yeah, well, you know what? I would like to think that all three of you this will resonate with you. I'm not a great magician.
I would disagree.
No.
I've seen your tricks.
Yeah. Listen,
There's a reason you're not invited to our poker games.
I have many colleagues that I'm humbled by their ability to do magic. As you guys in wrestling or in comedy, you can look at it both and you can say, this guy's so much funnier, this guy's so much stronger or better, or his moves are great. And I got to say that I have so many people in my magic social circle that far exceed their ability in magic, but they're not people persons, or they don't have the ability to work the crowd. Now, I started in my career as a musician. So I was a singer and a guitar player for a band, and I learned to be a front man. From there, I became the morning show producer and morning show host at Hits FM. So it gave me the chops, and it made me not afraid to talk, and it allowed me to work an audience and work things differently. I didn't get into magic until later in life. So when you deal with somebody who's been into magic since they were 12 years old, I mean, their ability is fantastic. And that works the same in comedy or wrestling. Like you think of Jim Carrey. I just worked with his sister Rita today. And if you think of how his ability as a comedian, he was a comedian at 10.
Yeah.
That's why he's a legend of who he is today. So I can't compete with people who have that natural ability to do magic. Most of them can't compete with how I control an audience. So somebody who might know 100 fantastic magic tricks but can't do fuck all with an audience,
Yeah.
I can compete with them so stronger because I can do 10 tricks with that same audience and carry them the entire time.
And it's funny you said competing, because you were on Penn and Teller's show, were you not? Actually competing against other magicians?
Actually,
on Fool Us? You were on Fool Us?
Yeah. I actually,
my goodness.
But I wasn't competing against them. I was the opening act with Penn and Teller in Vegas. And one of the things that I did, which I was really proud of, is I competed against 44,000 magicians worldwide to be in the top 10 of a show called Phenomenon with Chris Angel and Uri Geller. And I was 16 weeks in Las Vegas competing. And that's when I got to open for Chris Angel and David Copperfield as part of that program.
Wow.
Yeah,
but not a good magician, just so everybody
no, listen, I'm a good entertainer. I am a good entertainer. So
magic, I've always been enthralled with magic from the time I was young, and I've always wanted to do it. And then I kind of got out of it. I learned card tricks when I was younger, and then I just kind of stopped, but I wish I had stayed with it. And it's one of those things now where like I'll get lost in YouTube videos. Hours will go by of me just watching YouTube videos of guys doing magic tricks. And then I'll come across one where somebody reveals how to do the magic trick, and I'm almost disappointed that I know how to do the trick now. I would rather just be in awe that that this just happened in front of me. I have no idea how they did it. And it's just amazing to me. And then I figure out how they did it. And I'm just like, oh, I wish
and then if you see the trick again, if you see the trick again, you're just looking for the thing that you learned.
You're just looking for them to like sleight of hand or something. Yeah.
Well, it's the same as in wrestling too. Cause I mean, like just recently we heard the don't slap your leg controversy that's going on in WWE. And it's a lot of people are probably like, what do you mean don't slap? Like what? People slap their legs when they hit. That's what that sound is. And it's like you said, Eric, now you just found out the magic trick that, you know, it's a leg slap when somebody's hitting or punching, when there's guys that are so good at it that like you included, Eric, like you like you can make it look like you're lighting somebody up where it sounds like they are, but
I didn't realize The Rock slapped his leg until I started in wrestling, and I was so disappointed.
right.
That's-
So it's the same. It's amazing the parallels magic and pro wrestling. They're both
The difference though is like the wrestlers did it to themselves because they abused that trick. So instead of using it sparingly, they used it every single match like 14 times, and then it had to be addressed eventually because everyone.
it's overused in everything now.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you hear a slap noise and a guy has a boot on, and it's like, how
it
does
doesn't make that noise?
Yeah, how did a foot sound like a barefoot onto it? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what, like as in the wrestling industry, for sure, it's not about being a wrestler. It's not about being agile. It's about selling the character, because both of you guys have been good and bad characters. Both of you have been tag teams, or it doesn't matter what situation I want to put you in. When you're more of an actor than a wrestler. And that's what I was saying to you earlier about my magic ability. I'm an entertainer that does magic. I don't think that I have great magical skills, but I think I have great entertainment skills. Well, you guys become great actors who wrestle, because the character, like I'll just throw a character out there and say Hulk Hogan for as example. We've seen him as a good and a bad character, and his popularity was based on how he worked and played the crowd. It had nothing to do with his leg drop. That was secondary to the character that he played in the interviews and how he worked the crowd. And I've watched both of you guys wrestle, and it's how you work the crowd. It's you're an actor who wrestles, and he who climbs to the top of the chain is the best actor with the best wrestling ability.
Yeah, that's
and I like the entertainment aspect of wrestling and that interaction with the fans more. So I'm very impressed with guys who can do certain moves, because I can't do 450s and stuff like that. But interacting with the crowd is really what I love about wrestling, that entertainment aspect of it.
Isn't it great when you get somebody like that makes it to TV that has all of that, like everything, like Kurt Angle, where he can do
Kurt
all
Angle,
the entertaining and the wrestling, and he's just has everything.
Yeah,
that's none of us.
I mean, if you think of a guy like Stone Cold that could do, all kinds of chain and technical wrestling, and he literally just dropped it all for just stomps and stunners and stuff.
Well, that was a neck injury though. He changed the way he wrestled because he had to.
Yeah, for sure. But it's somebody that, even when you think of that, like, think about how he was more popular while he was doing that, rather than I mean, sure, he was I think people had some respect for him. They're like, wow, this guy can really work. But it wasn't until he was just doing the over the top character and the beers and the
he was more over as Steve Austin than he was as the ringmaster.
It's like Danny said about Hulk Hogan. Is like, he same thing in Japan and stuff. There's lots of videos out there in Japan where he can roll and he can do technical stuff, but it wasn't until he's doing the thing to the crowd and stuff that people are like, that's our guy. Yeah, there
it is. Danny gets it.
Yeah, I feel like Austin was already like starting to blow up when he broke his neck. So then it was like he had to come back, even if his neck wasn't 100%, because he was literally sitting on this lottery ticket that he had to cash, and he had to go back and do it. And then you could almost see that, like what Joe just said, as soon as he broke his neck, it was almost the start of the end of his career, but yet it wasn't even the biggest moment. You know what I mean? Because it was short. It wasn't quick. He was in the business less years than you and I've been wrestling now.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if Stone Cold had done magic instead of wrestling. He would have been like, pick a card. What? Pick a card.
Screw that guy, man.
Is this your card? What? I said, is this your card?
And
give me an abracadabra.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's funny when I consider magic. I started at my very first magic show publicly was at the CAW Hall in Bunting Road on St. Catharines in 2001. Just to consider that, okay, 20 years ago. And I had tuxedo with coattails, and I was that standard magician top hat because I thought that's what it should have been. And I sold tickets, and it didn't take long for me to realize that I couldn't make a living in the region doing a magic show over and over again, because once people seen it, they wouldn't come back and seen the same thing, which is what you guys can understand with wrestling. If you're not wrestling somebody new or do something else, they're not going to let you watch the same guy over and over again. So I became a hypnotist after that and added that, which gave me a little bit of more longevity, but it still required me to tour. So now here I am evolving even a third time, and I'm using escapology as a main platform. And it's not because I want to be an escape artist or hang from a box or do all the stupid crap that I do, but the payday is way better if you almost die. So yeah, so I can do your kids party and make some balloon animals and pull a pencil out of my ear for $300. I can hypnotize you and all your friends for a college party at a bar somewhere for $1,500, or I can hang from a box for $25,000. The math works pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that relates to wrestling again too.
That's danger pay. Yeah, we get paid so much more for doing a ladder match.
No,
or a cage match.
I was gonna say it's actually normally it's opposite in wrestling. The guys that are doing the hardcore stuff, it's like they're the guys that they're but the technical guys are getting paid more than I'll go through a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Danny, the hypnotist thing, when did you get into magic? How old were you when you started doing magic, when you stopped doing music and everything?
How old am I now? 30.
And then
I started magic when I was 30 years old. That's not a joke.
And then you did
you guys remember, are you guys old enough to remember at the Fairview Mall there was a guy named Bernie the Magic Man that used to sell magic tricks?
No.
Okay. There used to be movie theaters at the Fairview Mall many years ago, and which is where the big Walmart went at the end of that little stubby hallway. And there was a guy that used to set up every year. He used to also sell at the CNE, and his name was Bernie the Magic Man. And he would sell the thumb tips and trick cards and all of that stuff. And I was talking to him one day, and he needed a place to rent. And I had an apartment at the back of my tattoo shops, because you guys know I was a tattoo artist. And so I rented.
He's done every job.
Just something else.
Only the cool one. Yeah. He's done every cool job ever.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
You've never been like a dental hygienist. It's
first I was
really
a rock star, then I ran a radio station, then I was
flipped
a houses
artist for a while.
Then I was a hypnotist, then a magician, now I'm a escape artist.
It's been a colorful life. Well, I rented to this guy, and he a couple of times, and I don't say this disrespectfully because he's somebody I care about a great deal, but a couple of times in lieu of rent, he traded me magic tricks, and that was how I got into magic. Hypnosis was because I was the morning show host at Hits FM, and I have to go into work at 3:30 in the morning to get prepped for the show, but I still had the tattoo shops, which were open till midnight. So I used to finish my morning show at 9 a.m. I'd go sleep for 2 hours. I'd open the tattoo shops at noon and work them. I'd get a couple hours sleep about supper time. Then I'd go to bed at midnight. I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the radio station. I did that for years. And at one point, I got a REM sleep disorder. There's a small part of your brain that helps induce sleep. And my part of my brain died. It stopped working. And my skin turned gray. I lost a bunch of weight. I literally was dying. And I went to a number of doctors and sleep clinics. And in the end, they just said it was like the Matrix. They said, you're going to take the green pill to go to sleep and the red pill to wake up. And I just, it just wasn't what I was as a man. And I tried to research a little more. And a friend of mine said, you should see a hypnotherapist. And I went and seen one, and they taught me how to sleep. And it was so inspiring what I learned that I quit my job and went back to school and became a doctor of hypnotherapy. It was that inspiring. It was life-changing. And I opened up a clinic, and I started helping people quit smoking and lose weight and all of that stuff. But it was boring because I like to entertain. And in turn, I started doing a show on the weekends, and then I just stopped my practice and worked hypnosis.
So can everybody be hypnotized?
I can hypnotize anybody.
Really?
Oh yes, no problem.
I heard because I've been told it's only canceled.
Rex is like, no, no.
I heard it's only if you want to be hypnotized.
Now, you know what? I've worked with the Niagara Regional Police a few times to find some criminals, find out where they stash their stuff. I can hypnotize anybody. It just depends on how long you're going to talk to them and what techniques you use. So in a show, I want to hypnotize you in about 4 or 5 minutes as fast as I can so that the audience can laugh. In hypnotherapy or working with somebody who, and I say this with love in my heart, somebody who might have been abused or something like that needs to be healed, somebody who is uncomfortable about a situation that they're trying to deal with, those type of people, sometimes it takes a great deal more time, and I still can hypnotize them. It just takes longer. You know what? I was on a radio show and I was asked to hypnotize a lady, and I was going through my process and I said, now I need you to close your eyes. And she didn't close her eyes. And I said, I need you to close your eyes. And she said, I can't close my eyes. And I said, why? And she said, well, I'm deaf. I didn't know she was deaf. She read lips. So I spent about 40 minutes hypnotizing her with her eyes open. If I can hypnotize a deaf woman with her eyes open, I can take anybody out.
So you can use it for good, but is there any way you can use it so that people will buy our Patreon?
Well, I can't say that for sure, but my wife is 20 years younger than me, so
nice. All right.
Buy our
over?
Patreon.
Are you guys hypnotized? What
Yeah.
did you do to my friends?
Yeah, that's it. No, the honest answer is I use the speed in which I talk, the tone in which I use, and the words in which I say in order to trick your subconscious mind into taking over the mechanics of your body while your conscious mind has a nap. It's very similar to daydreaming. So the how rapid I talk and the way that I do it and the things that I say and do just gets you to follow it. And we've all been hypnotized. You ever driven home from work and forgot driving home? I mean, it's highway hypnosis.
Multiple times.
Yeah. And that's we're all capable of it. It's very similar to daydreaming. It's just I do it for an entertaining purpose, or I do it to help people find the best version of themselves. So
Yeah, can you help Rex and I lose weight, and then whoever loses the most weight, they can win a prize?
yeah, well, you know what? There's no help for Rex. We all know.
So what about, can you be hypnotized to like if you're in a lot of pain, can you hypnotize someone to not feel that pain?
You know what? Pain is it's funny that you said that of all the things that you could have said.
Well, I'm in a lot of pain, Danny.
Yeah. No, you know what? We do. I'm going to tell you all something, and I want this to resonate with you because it's something that I use for a technique. I talked to you earlier about when I was in Rome and I broke my collarbone and tore my rotator cuff. I'm still waiting for surgery. And I have arthritis in those entry points from the surgeries and stuff. So I deal with pain all the time. So I really do. I'm not saying I understand what pain you're in or somebody else is, but I can say that I understand what pain I go through, so I can be empathetic to people who have pain. Now, for those of you that are wrestling and you pull a muscle or you do something and it hurts, you do recognize it hurts. But in hypnosis, we break down what that pain is. And pain is really heat. If you think about a tore shoulder or a tore leg muscle or something, it's really just hot. We are taught to act on that pain. As a child, when you fall down and hit your knee, your mom comes over and you're crying and she gives you that, well, Rex's mom didn't, but other parents did.
My mother was a saint.
Yeah. But what happens is you hurt yourself and your parent comes over and they console you in some fashion and they say it's okay. They give you the lollipop or the Band-Aid and they make you feel better. So we've learned that by reacting to that pain gives us some relief in some fashion, whether it's somebody who helps us or whether we feel relief ourselves by able to crying or react. The honest answer is when you experience pain, if you really just closed your eyes and thought of that pain, it's really heat or cold or a pull. And if you consider that pain and recognize it for what it is, it's manageable because you have labeled it. And if you think of a tore shoulder or a broken bone and you feel that heat, you're like, yeah, that is hot. And we can recognize that if something's hot, we can deal with it. We stand out in the sun, the heat's too hot, much, we got too many blankets on. We can recognize how we deal with heat or cold or anything. And once you label it for what that pain is, the management of it is very easy, because if it's a pulling, you recognize it's just a pulling. If it's cold or heat, you recognize for what it is, and then you don't acknowledge it the way you generally would standard pain. And I challenge all of you to do that, because the minute you label it for what it is, you'll deal with it differently.
All right. I'm gonna try it
The
out.
more I listen about the hypnosis, the more I realize that I cannot have that power, because I would abuse it for sure. And I would almost exclusively use it to make girls kiss. Like I can't.
You're like the worst supervillain ever.
I know. I would be the worst. I can't.
Let me pan out and show you the rest of my room then. Yeah.
Hey! Yeah, I can't have that power. You're a saint for being able to. You're like, I think I'll use it to help somebody stop smoking or lose weight. Whereas I'd be like, I want the last Oreo or something, and I trick my wife or something. So yeah, that's awesome that you're able to do that. That's amazing.
Okay, boys. Danny, where can everybody find you online?
Well, you know what? I appreciate the plug. DannyWith4Zs.com is my website. I very rarely update it because I'm not motivated as I should be. Certainly the last year has slowed me down. Danny Z on Facebook is a little bit more popular because I scroll while I go to the bathroom. So there's better chances of me posting something. And I mean, the honest answer is, if there's something that you're looking for, whether it's entertainment or inspiration or whatever, just search Danny with 4Zs. I'm out there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Google,
Awesome.
YouTube, check it out. I've seen a lot of your stuff, man. It's amazing.
You have been one of my favorite guests so far. Like, this has been so fun, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, super
This is a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you in person again, man. It's been too long.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm happy to be a part of anything. And I hope that as your podcasts grow and the things that you guys do here online, I hope that you'd consider me as a guest in future get-togethers for sure.
Anytime. Definitely.
I just, folks at home, I just found his page on Facebook and liked it. That's how long it took. So there is no excuse for you to not go like Danny Z with 4 Zs, 4 Zs.
That's it.
And like him on Facebook, because that was
As well
totally
as patreon.com/goodbrothermorning. Okay, everybody. That was Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Danny.
Let's get the show on the road.